Okay. Hello. Oh, we lost
Hello.
our participant. Okay.
All right.
Well, never mind. Hello, everybody. Um, Jennifer, I'm sorry I didn't respond to any of your emails. I didn't even look at my email yesterday.
That's good. I think that's what you do on a day off. It was just more of
Yes,
a,
I was successful.
I think it was more of the get things off my brain so it was ready when you were ready to
That's
engage again.
great. I
So,
appreciate it. I'm glad that your Paylocity is working now. It makes things a lot easier.
yay.
Okay, looks like we have two attendees. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Savannah.
Gonna let you talk, Savannah, if you want to say hi to Jennifer. I believe we have folks from Epic joining us along with Savannah today.
Sweet. Savannah was Matthew's employment specialist. He
Oh,
went through customized employment. So
amazing. Cool. She was mentioning that she knew you. I was curious how. That's great. Such a small world.
it is.
Uh,
Cannot hear you.
we can't hear you. Let me see. You
Looks
have
like you're
two.
muted.
Yeah, you have two accounts here too. I just, let's see. You should be able to talk.
Good morning, guys. My name is Micah Cuvée.
Good morning.
Hi, Micah.
Where's the I'm trying to find the where I can turn my video on, or is that not an option?
That's a good question. Jennifer, do you know, since it's a
I do
webinar?
know it is not an option because it's a webinar. We had a few months ago some meeting bombs, and so our
Oh,
our director of operations decided that we needed to go to webinar mode for a while, and she said, "I think the last I heard, I think that we can go back to the other format again in um, maybe after the new year." But she's working on confirming the details.
Yes, we're hoping to return to the meetings again so that we can all see each other.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Savannah says she doesn't have the option to unmute.
Yeah, that's an option that I have to give you. There's like an allow to talk option. Whenever I press that, you should be able to unmute yourself. Should be able to do it now.
You hear me now?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
hey. Yep, we can hear you.
Great.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we're very excited. So far we have me and two individuals and then Micah. So
Awesome. Glad to hear it. We have Christina who just logged in. Good morning, Christina. We're just going to give folks a few more minutes. We typically start around 10:05. Jennifer, you said the census for these meetings is generally higher than on Mondays. Is that true?
It generally is. And then Becca said we had even just the registration she had as of Monday. It was more for today.
Okay,
So
great. That is perfect. Good morning, Jen. We're just letting folks filter in. Whoops, sorry. I copied and pasted the wrong thing. Jennifer, it's just you and me running things today.
yeah.
For folks who are just joining us, I dropped some reminders up at the top of the chat. We have some successful meeting strategies, just reminders to keep yourself muted. And then we also have a reminder that this meeting is being recorded. We are going to be posting it to our YouTube page and we'll send out the meeting notes as well. And for folks who are just joining us, we're going to give the rest of our friends a few more minutes to just filter in since it's early in the morning. Did anyone see the Northern Lights last night?
No, I did not. I didn't know that they were that was going on actually.
Me either, until I got an email from our coworkers this morning that said they were able to see them.
I made my boyfriend take me out into the
Oh,
middle of the country and
fun.
I got some great pictures. So
That's amazing. I'm jealous.
That was a good idea, Savannah. We are just like here in Bloomington Normal. I'm about 7 minutes from my cousin, and she's right on the edge of town. And her viewing was far better than ours, just even right here. So going out in the country, I'm sure would have been fabulous.
Oh,
She
you're
did tell
gonna
me that
go.
they're happening again tonight, so we're gonna probably give it another try.
Fun. Yeah, I'm like right in the city, so I don't know how I would have to go north, I think, if I was
we
gonna.
could actually see it with our naked eye too. The
Oh,
red portions, it was really cool out in the
so
middle of nowhere.
cool. It's really fun.
At
And I have
some
another friend
point,
of mine that's been sending photos. I wonder if I can drop one in, but they're really amazing.
Yeah, so cool.
some point, Savannah, will I be able to see a picture of the Northern Lights?
Yes, I will make sure that you'll get to see them. I'll email you one, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right.
If you
We're
can
gonna give,
excuse me, I'm getting a
yeah,
call from our host. I'll be right back.
of course. We're just gonna give folks another few minutes. Thanks everyone for your patience. And just a heads up, Jennifer and I don't have a lot of extra tech support today. So if things are a little bit glitchy, we appreciate your patience. We usually have some other folks helping us out behind the scenes with monitoring the chat and everything. But today it's just gonna be us.
Too bad I'm not with you guys. I can help you with it.
Are
I'm
you
pretty
the tech
techy.
master?
Yeah, well, with some of it at least, depending on how advanced it is.
For sure. Well, the Zoom is definitely very finicky, so we appreciate any help that we can get, honestly.
Hey Rio, this is
We
Lisa, the captioner.
Hi,
Um,
Lisa.
is your Zoom just kind of flashing? Is that what you're talking about?
No, everything is okay right now. Is yours flashing?
Well, yeah, every time I caption it just flashes, but it'll be okay. I just wondered if that was the problem with it.
Oh, let me see. I didn't even have my captions on yet.
I think the captions are coming up fine. It's just the Zoom for me seems really flaky today.
Oh, weird. No, it's looking okay on my end, but Jennifer, how does yours look? Is yours flashing around at all?
I'm not have anything like that happening right now, but Vincent, our host, is having trouble getting in even through the
Okay.
link. So I'm gonna try, if it's okay, take a moment and try to send him one more thing.
Yeah,
See if we can
please.
get him on. All right, I'll be right
Of
back.
course.
Thanks. I'm gonna mute.
Okay. Um, so odd that Vincent can't come in. Hi, friends who are just joining us. We're just waiting for our host, Vincent, to log in. We have a few reminders up at the top of the chat that I'm going to drop right back in here. Just some successful meeting stats. Oh my gosh, successful meeting strategies. And a reminder that this meeting is being recorded because we like to upload things to our YouTube channel. And About a week after this meeting happens, you will receive meeting notes and a link to the meeting recording. So you can look out for that. And Jennifer's going to be sharing some resources for us during her presentation. And all of those links I'm going to drop into the chat, but I'm also going to send those out with the meeting notes as well. So if you don't get the chance to follow all of those links, don't worry. We will be sending them out to you as soon as possible. We're just waiting for Vincent to join us. Oop. Jennifer, I don't know if you can hear me. I just sent Vincent another link that might be easier to follow. I'm not really sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for your patience. We're just waiting for our host to join us, and then we'll get started. We're having some glitchy Zoom issues this morning, so I appreciate your patience, and we will be starting soon. I hope everyone's having a nice morning. We were just discussing the Northern Lights. I don't know if anyone was able to see them last night. You want to talk about it in the chat? Hopefully we can get Vincent signed in here quickly. Thanks everyone for joining us. We're just waiting for our host to join. We're having some technical difficulties, but we will be starting very soon. Thank you everyone for your patience. Did anyone do anything fun this weekend? Thanks everyone for your patience. We're just waiting for Vincent to join us. Hey.
Well, he has tried several different ways
Oh
and
wait,
it's
I see him. Hold
okay,
on.
good. How exciting.
Vincent. Okay. Vincent, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
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 What's up?
He's with us. The last thing worked. Thank you. Glad you're
Awesome.
here.
Great. Vincent, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Okay. Do you feel ready to get started?
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
let's do it. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. Welcome to our November Rev Up meeting. My name is Rio Goodwin Perez. I am the new director of the Going Home Coalition in Rev Up, Illinois. I feel very thankful to be here this morning. It's great to be in space with all of you. Today we have an amazing presentation by our new senior community mobilization manager here at the ARC, Jennifer Thibodeaux Sands, and today is November 12th. Our host for this morning is Vincent Smith. Vincent is a Chicago Public Schools graduate. He is a disability rights advocate. He is a current member of the ARC of Illinois Board of Directors. He's served on PACE and ADA Paratransit Advisory Board and the ICDD Board of Directors. He is a presenter on topics including supportive housing, assistive tech, and transportation. He has presented at Speak Up and Speak Out Summit, the Going Home Rally, the DDD Provider Webinars, and an Ohio event for self-advocates on rights. He enjoys traveling to visit his family in Virginia, California, Minnesota, and North Carolina. And I'm going to pass things off now to Vincent Smith.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Vincent Smith. I might need help with it. I'm gonna need help.
You want some help reading the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I can read the agenda and then do you want to introduce Jennifer after that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So today we're gonna be introduced to our speaker, Vincent Smith, and then we're going to hear from Jennifer Sands, and she's going to talk to us about creating our personal legislative contact plans. And then you guys will hear a bit more from me about what's coming up for Rev Up Illinois and the Going Home Coalition. Vincent, you can go ahead and introduce Jennifer now.
Okay. Here you go, Jennifer. She is a new person. A new person. You know what? Only people. Can I do it to you this meeting? And I do it in the near future.
You want me to introduce Jennifer and you do it in the future? Is that what you said?
And then Vincent, you might go ahead and do the question and answer when I'm done. Would that work out?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So I get the honor of introducing Jennifer Thibodeaux Sands. Jennifer is our newly minted Senior Community Mobilization Manager here at the ARC of Illinois, working with Speak Up and Speak Out, Rev Up Illinois, and the Going Home Coalition. She is an experienced disability advocate and self-advocate. She is the parent and educator of 5 adults with disabilities. She is a graduate of Illinois Partners in Policymaking and a faculty advisor. She is a current sociology student. She is trained in person-centered planning and inclusive communication, including plain language. She is very focused on community engagement and advocacy. And for fun, Jennifer enjoys music, learning, family, and friends. And I'm going to stop screen sharing and let Jennifer go ahead and take over with her presentation.
Thank you. Great. I think I have got this. So it's sharing
Yeah.
now.
Looks great.
And we'll see if we can go from here. I'm so excited to, I wanted to say see everybody today, but since we're in webinar mode, I can see your names and see you in the chat and things like that. The actual presentation mode I've got going on right now, I cannot see the chat. So if there's any questions, just let me know because I'm not gonna be able to see them. We're here today to talk about creating a legislator contact plan. All right, first we're gonna do a little bit about me. We're gonna look back at some of our October meetings and bring things together. I'd like to give everybody a bird's eye view of a few different systems here in Illinois that will help us with creating our plan. And then we'll talk about a couple ways that you can create your plan. And then I've got some resources I can share with you. All right, so we went over this already a little bit. So I am a disability advocate. I have hidden disabilities myself. I am a child of a parent with disabilities as well as being a parent. Very excited to be a part of Illinois Partners in Policy Making. And one of the things I want to note here is that as you see some of the education and training, I've had a lot of opportunity to get training of how to talk to legislators and what to say. But even after all of that, I wasn't always quite sure of how to go about it. I knew when to do calls of actions, but as far as like me reaching out and schedule meetings, I still had a lot of questions. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this presentation today. I am 2 classes away from graduating with my bachelor's in sociology, so I'm pretty excited about that. And through my education, I got to do an internship here at the ARC, which turned into the position I have now. So I'm really excited about that. So looking back, if you have not had the opportunity to see the sessions or attend the sessions that we had in October, I really encourage you to go back. They're available through our YouTube channel. It's actually the Going Home Coalition YouTube channel. The one we had for Rev Up was Diane Husby Gordon, and she was just, I loved everything about her presentation. She is a former staffer with Illinois Senator Faraci, and she had some things that really surprised her when she was a staffer, things that she just had no idea about. And she shared some of those behind the scenes things with us and then gave us a lot of great ideas, which included the basis for some of the things that I'm going to share with you now. And it was also like a preview. She really talked about storytelling and how important it was. And then we went ahead and had for our Going Home Coalition meeting in October, Gary Arnold, who is like a storyteller hobbyist. This is something that he does for fun, but he also does it in his professional role too. He's worked with a bunch of us to tell our story when we were working on the Dignity with Pay movement, I guess would be a good word for it. So we met with a lot of different people to help take our experiences and form it into just little snippets so that we can share that effectively with different legislators and other community leaders so that we can get some strength. And excited to say that the Dignity and Pay bill passed, so that was effective. Gary did a great job, and he did a really great job presenting to us in October. So again, check those out. And then a little bit later, we have some of the resources that we shared in both of those meetings. We have a lot of resources we're sharing in the chat. They will be available when we do the follow-up recording with this, but I know sometimes I like to get them right away and save them so I can check them out. So as I said earlier, I had a lot of really fabulous training, but I came away with some questions. How can we be most effective when we're reaching out to our legislators? When specifically should we reach out to them? And how often should we reach out so that it's enough that they really get to know us and they know who to call when they've got questions about matters about disability and different policies that's coming before them? But how do we do it often enough so that we don't get tuned out? I would love it if y'all would put in the chat questions that you might have about bringing these things together and reaching out to your policymakers. You might find that I might hit some of those answers in this presentation, but if I don't, we really want to know so that we can either touch base one-on-one or potentially include that in another presentation in the future or other trainings that we are developing. So the bird's eye views that I would like to share include key times to reach out to legislators, the seasons of our legislators, and the life of a bill. And I am going to try to practice something that Gary Arnold did really well. I always want to do this, but I forget. He does a great job of describing his slides. So in this slide, there is a illustration. It's a drawing of a river or a stream that's going horizontally across, kind of winding with around some trees and rocks and things like that. So it's just illustrating, just kind of getting an overview without getting into a lot of the details. Key times to reach out and contact our legislators. In this slide, there are two visuals. One in the top left corner is a woman standing in front of a home, and next to it, it says personal needs. And then below that, we have community needs, and there's an illustration of a diverse group of people, racially and abilities and disabilities in, looks like what's like a park with the city in the background. So those are the kind of the two different breakdowns of, at least in my mind, of when we want to reach out. All right, so now we're going to talk about personal needs. And this is something that Diane did a really good job of going over. And I was encouraged by her professional experience to really pay attention to this and not overlook how important this is for us personally as well as for our community. So first of all, legislators, we know that they are supposed to be listening to us and getting the input of the people that have voted them into office. So constituents is one of those words that I was like, what is that? So I just want to toss that out there, because if you're getting involved, you're going to hear that word a lot. Constituents are people that are represented by elected officials. For example, the state of Illinois, we have federal senators and representatives, and we are their constituents, and they're supposed to be listening to us above all else, hearing what matters in our lives. In the state of Illinois, we have they've broken it up into a bunch of districts. So there's Senate districts. I think there's like 50 some of those. I'll get those numbers correct sometime, but there are, so my senator, the person that represents me, is different than who represents Vincent and the one who represents Rio. So when we have a need, we would first primarily just go to the people that we have the opportunity to vote for. So we're their constituents. We know they're supposed to be listening to us, and they are voting on bills. But personally, they can provide disaster relief and crisis support for a large community. Like what pops into my mind is Hurricane Katrina. I've got family in Louisiana and in the South, and there was a lot of large scale crisis and disaster relief needed. But sometimes we have some disaster and crisis on a personal level. Maybe we can't pay our electric bill. Maybe we're having a problem with the landlord and they aren't listening to us. And that is a crisis. And our legislators are people, when we're not getting anywhere, they're people that we can reach out to. They are supposed to help connect us with resources whether it's there might be some funding available or information that we need to overcome our problem. That's part of their job. Part of their job is to explain complex government programs and regulations. I don't know how many of you all, but I've been through the SSI program, and that was a lot. So when there are things that are happening that we just don't understand and don't make sense, definitely we've got organizations like the Arc of Illinois that can help us, but our legislators are there for us as well. They can act as a liaison between the constituent, us who vote them into office, and the government agency. A liaison is just someone who helps with communication between between people or groups of people. They can submit inquiries to try to get some more information about the process. They can check on the status of our particular case to see why it's hung up, where the problem might be. They can help us find solutions, and they can help speed up services and resolve roadblocks. On a personal level, it wasn't a disability related matter, but it was another matter. I'm an adoptive parent as well. And so there was like a worldwide problem with some adoption things. And I had been encouraged to reach out to my legislators, and I did. And they offered to help me. I heard from the State Department, oh, we've got this under control. It's going to be okay. And they eventually did. But the people who actually took up the offer from their legislators, their problem got resolved a lot faster than mine. So that taught me a hard lesson to go ahead and take up our legislators when they offer to help. The best way to contact them usually is to call them or email them, but ideally if you can set up an appointment, because then you can have some in real-time dialogue with them. When to do it is when the problem's happening. The staffers are always in the office. When the legislators are in their sessions, sometimes they might be in Springfield or in Washington, but almost all the legislators, they have offices in Springfield or Washington, depending on if they're state or federal. But then they usually have one or more offices in their districts that people work in, even when the legislators are away. And so they're handling a lot of these kinds of matters. If you choose to reach out to your legislator, just a few things that Diane had shared with us, to just be prepared before you call can be, I know when I called, it was overwhelming and I didn't even know what to say, just help. And so they had to ask me a lot of questions. Ideally, we can go to them and say, this is the problem. These are the things that I've done about it. These are the results that I've gotten, what's been accomplished, or this is what hasn't happened. And this is what I need, what I want you to help me with. Or you can just even say, what do I do next? I am at a loss. And they really do a lot of times have some great tips. Diane had some fabulous stories in her presentation. I think there was one about people who need licenses because they are in cosmetology, beauty. I think people have like barbershops and beauty shops and things have to get relicensed, and there was a problem with that. And this is one of those examples of where individuals called and they were able to get help, but they got so many calls from individuals, they realized that there was a systemic problem, and that really alerted that to them so that they can handle it kind of on a bigger scale. The other thing that Diane had shared with us, that these types of problems let the legislators know are personal stories. They can hear all of the statistics and hear things in general, but when they hear a specific story of how this Medicaid stuff impacts me and my family, this is what we are going without, this is what is at risk for us, it puts a name and a real person in their mind now. So it really helps them to connect with it. And that's, Diane said, it's very powerful. I've seen that myself. So just remember, even if it's not like a community issue, a disability issue, whatever you've got going on in your life, they may be the people to help you find a path forward. So community needs. I would love if you would share in the chat Oh, look, and I found a way that I can see the chat as well. I see we have a parent with an adult child with IDD. That is starting to learn how to navigate these things and wanted to know how to get involved, but wasn't quite sure how. And so that's something that we at the ARC, and I know a lot of other organizations are really working to get some more information out there about. So, Sherry, if I have enough time at the end, we've got something coming up that I can tell you about. Otherwise, we'll let you know some things in some of the coming newsletters. If you can take a few moments and put in the chat, maybe what are some of the community needs that have your attention right now? I know I have a handful, so feel free to list a few of them, or maybe just list your top one, but let's just share with each other some of the things that have our interests. We've got SNAP, Medicaid and Medicare, huge one, huge one. And I'll continue going on here. And as I see some of these pop up, I'll go ahead and interject and let you know what we've got. Again, best ways to contact our legislators for these community needs. Calls, emails, witness slips, and meetings are the top 4. When you're calling, make sure you're ready to provide. A lot of times they're going to want to know some bit of information to confirm that you're in the district. When you do emails, there may be times when you are encouraged by, in a call to action, which I will talk about in a few moments, they'll sometimes give sample emails, and those are really great. I would encourage you, if you get those, to read it and then find a spot in there where you can take maybe 3 to 5 sentences and insert your personal story, because they're going to get a lot of the same email, and that bulk really matters. But when they see some of those individual stories, that's when they get, again, more, things become more concrete. They have more power to encourage other people to maybe sway over to how that legislator would like somebody to vote. So personalize them when you can. Witness slips, we're going to talk about those in a few minutes. And then meetings, again, we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but that a great way is to have a plan to meet with your legislators, like at certain intervals, so they get to know you and they get to know your needs. I see another chat says transportation, access to services, the long waiting list. I'm guessing that might be for the waiver, the Medicaid waiver. Rate studies, and that rate studies, if you're not familiar with that, it's when the government does different studies to see how much things are costing so that they can include things in budget, and just a lot of the financial aspect, and employment options. Savannah, that's an amazing list. Thank you for sharing that. So we've talked about what we need to do, the best way to contact when, during the key points in the life of a bill, which is one of the bird's eye views that I'll be sharing in a few moments, and during monthly or quarterly legislative action meetings. When you are communicating, you're going to want to know the seasons of the legislators, which we're going to talk about. You're going to want to watch trackers and listen to calls of action, which I'm going to provide some links that you can get in touch with some of those organizations that provide those, have some materials prepped, and team up with others. So the overview, the seasons of the legislators, this is something that I knew a bit about, but I felt like it helped me to understand a little bit more specifically. The US Congress and the Illinois General Assembly are essentially the same thing. We have 3 branches of governments. If you've watched Schoolhouse Rock, I think I've got a link for that in here. We've got the executive, which is our president or governor. We've got our judicial, which is our US Supreme Court, our Supreme Court in Illinois, and all of the district courts. And then we've got our legislator, which has, sometimes we'll call them 2 houses, which gets confusing because one of them literally has the name House in their name. So in this presentation, I'm going to refer to them as chambers. Like if you've got chambers in your heart, you've got different sections, or a building has different chambers. We've got 2 different chambers in our legislator. We call our legislative process the Congress federally, and we call it the General Assembly in Illinois. Different states will run it differently, but our state, fortunately for us, for understanding, it runs the same way as federal. Our Congress and our General Assembly both each last 2 years. It starts on the even year, and then it goes for 2 years. And essentially, both years are identical. They're just two years of one session. The first year is the first session, and the second year is called the second session. That also confused me because we also, especially in our state side, we talk about the regular session, which is from January to May. And then we've got a veto session, which is about 2 weeks in the fall. And then we can have some special sessions. On the US Congress side, they're pretty much in session the majority of the year. But they will take breaks. So they will adjourn or go on recess, I think is how it's called, so that people can go, the legislators can go back and have their in-district time. And that's a phrase when you're hearing that in the media, that that's the time that they're coming back to the district, and that's the most likely time that we might get an appointment directly with the legislator. We can request appointments anytime in the year, and a lot of times they will have us meet with staffers. Do not underestimate if you get an appointment with a staffer. Some of the staffers are amazing, and they hear us and they summarize that information and they take it to the legislator, and sometimes that is all that's needed. They can help take care of that problem. They can advocate and get that information on there. And then sometimes it's enough that the legislator is like, all right, I want to meet with them personally. So in the federal side, they've got a long recess, usually in August, and then they have short breaks throughout the year. So in the Illinois side, we've got the regular session from January to May, and that is when the House bills and the Senate bills can be introduced. And we're going to talk about that next. But a House bill must be introduced by late February, and a Senate bill must be introduced by mid-February. There are extensions, but it's difficult to get through the whole process if you don't get it introduced by that time. So if we're thinking about the seasons, we know that at the beginning of the season, they're going to be introducing ideas and bills and legislation. Then there might be some meetings, and you'll just know maybe in January and February when you're getting calls to action and you're watching bills. Those are certain kind of meetings that you might want to attend or be calling your legislators about. From March until June, a lot of times there's a lot of committee meetings, and there might be, one of my colleagues talked about that, like high witness slip season. So just know that there might be a lot of witness slips coming your way. And we're going to give you some resources to know how to get really confident and how to fill those out. In the federal side, bills can be reduced any time of the year. And on both sides, whenever they're introduced, that name of that bill and that number is good for the entire time of that Congress. So if it's at the January of an even year, that bill and the number can be alive for a full 2 years. If it's being introduced now, for instance, pretty late in the season and an odd year, if we were to introduce a bill right now during our veto session in Illinois, or just this late, there's just a short span, and sometimes they can get through, but it's a lot of compressed work there. I didn't mention veto sessions in the state of Illinois. Those 2 weeks are primarily for if bills went through, got passed, and got to the governor's desk, and for some reason they got vetoed. Those couple of weeks are designed so that the legislator knows when they're going to come back and address a lot of those vetoes and see if they can still get them passed through. If by the end of the 2 years, so we get to December of an odd numbered year, if the bill dies, it is done. In order to get that topic addressed, we're going to need to reintroduce it, get a new bill number. So that's just an overview of how the seasons of our legislators work. Now, the life of a bill, if you have not seen or have not recently seen Schoolhouse Rock video, it is still an excellent resource and a catchy tune to help us keep all of those things in mind. They do a really great job of all of these bills start off as a simple idea, and it could be from anyone. Anyone in the community is like, this is a problem, this ought to be a law. So you can get a bunch of people together, you can go directly to your legislator. The next step after the idea is then you write a policy proposal and just like, this is in writing what my idea is about. After that, when you've got some legislators interested, they will take those to a special committee, a group of people, and they will write it in legislative language, because there are certain kinds of words, just like in a lot of different fields, that you've got to write it in a way so that there's a understanding of what's being asked. So they'll write it in that special way, and then they need to get a sponsor. The bill can be introduced in either chamber, the House of Representatives or the Senators. Sometimes they do the same bill or similar bills on both sides to see if they can get it through, but it can go with either one of them. We'll just go with our example. It's just introduced in one of the chambers. They need sponsors, and a lot of times you want to get one of the legislators that's going to say, I sponsor this, and get many co-sponsors if possible, because the more support you show, the more solid that is. And then they will introduce that in the first chamber. So let's say it's the Senate. They're going to introduce it to the Senate. If it's the Senate, it's going to get a number. The bills will have a name and it'll have a number, says SB. If it's introduced in the House, it'll be HB, House bill or Senate bill. There's some other kinds of proposals that can be focused on, but we're going to focus it on the bills for right now. Some of those are more for just how they do all of their operation in-house and function and get things passed. But for the things that we want laws, they will refer to them as bills. So they'll assign it to a committee, they'll research it, they'll discuss it, and they do what's called marking up the bill, which is essentially just making any changes that they think need to be made. They'll have different meetings, a lot of times at public hearings, people might be able to come and listen to it. And then that way, if the person who has made the bill, maybe there's something in that bill that impacts one of my communities in a way they didn't realize, I have an opportunity to say, hey, if you word it like that, it's going to cause problems for us. Why don't we word it a different way so your needs get met and we don't cause more problems for us? So that's where the public can really get a chance to have some input. So they can mark that up. A lot of times the bill will die in committee. They won't officially reject it, but they won't do anything further, and we're not going to meet about this anymore. So many bills that are introduced, and a lot of them will die in committee. But if the momentum keeps building and they do these markups, eventually they will if the term is called report it out, which means they're like, we're ready for the entire group of senators or the entire group of House of Representatives to look at it. And so then they will introduce it to the chamber floor. They'll discuss it. They'll debate it. Sometimes they'll make changes and then they'll make a vote. If it passes, then they send it over to the other chamber. So if we started in the Senate, they're going to send it over to the House of Representatives and they're going to go through the whole thing again. And if it passes, then at the end, you've probably got two documents that are a little bit different because through the process, it's not going to end up being exactly the same. So then they have another group of people that will bring both of the documents together and they'll work out all the differences so that they just have one document, and it'll go back to both chambers, the Senate and the House, and then they'll vote on that one version. That's the version that goes to the governor or the president to either sign or ignore, or veto it. If it's vetoed, in Illinois, we've got that veto session where that can be addressed. Depending on if the president or governor ignores it, depending on what period of time that is, it might automatically become a law, or it might automatically not die. That gets into less than a bird's eye view, but that generally is how it works. So with that information in mind, we can consider some things when we're deciding to create our own legislative plan. I'm going to share with you, well, on this screen, we have a gentleman who is a chair user, and he's in front of an easel with a whiteboard, and he's got a box with arrows and a bunch of X's and O's, and he's creating a plan. So when we're creating our plan, there are a few things we want to consider. We want to keep our eye out for opportunities for action through our trackers and calls to action. And we want to prepare for these calls and emails and meetings. So things to consider. Advocacy can be a whole lot of work. So remember, you are one person and you are a very important person. So take care of yourself. There are a whole group of people that are working together. And so if, yes, we need to do the work, but also we need to recognize when we need partners to do the work and when maybe for whatever reason we might need to step back for a little bit. We need to decide what pacing is good for us. One person might be looking at all the calls to action and all the witness slips and meeting as frequently as they can. And maybe that doesn't work with your needs, with your family's needs, with whatever reason. So you decide what pacing works for you and then be willing to adjust that. If it's something that maybe is a season that's got a lot going on, then drop back a little bit. If it's a season where you've got more energy or you find that the matter is like just needs all hands on deck, then maybe pop in for that. But just, I've seen people burn out and it takes a while to recover from burnout. So take care of you. Decide who you're going to partner with. If you're going to do meetings, you can rotate this. A lot of times you may want to have maybe you go at every meeting, but you pick 2 or 3 other people that will go with you and you rotate those so that the legislator gets somebody that they're comfortable with and they trust and respect, and then you bring more people in so that they can develop more relationships and hear more stories. Decide whether you're going to do this once a month or maybe once every 3 months. Decide what you want to have your one main focus to be. We got a lot going on right now. When we write our letters, when we have our meetings, the recommendation is always just to pick one topic. Don't go in with the whole list. If you have a whole list of things, set different meetings for each one of them. But just pick up which one you're going to do and then decide, are you going to want to do that same topic every month or every quarter, or are you going to rotate through the main things that you have? Remember, the meetings may happen with staffers or legislators. Keep your ear out. If you really want to meet with your legislator and you express that, look for when they're working in district, look for when they're doing town hall meetings or making appearances at other events. Those are great times to get face-to-face with the legislator that might even get you a meeting. But make sure that you know that those staffers can be vital. And also, when you are meeting with them, realize that there are some things that they just cannot say, even legally. That would be another reason to go back and check out the October Rev Up meeting with Diane Husby-Gordon, because she goes through that in a little bit more detail. Here are some resources. Most of the rest of this is resources. Legislative trackers are amazing tools. They can be a little overwhelming when you first start looking at them, but they will list you can search the bill by the bill name or by the topic. Maybe in January, you just want to search in there anything related to disability, and it will bring up all the things as they're coming. And then you might want to pick certain ones that you're going to focus on. There is an official website for the U.S. Federal Legislative Information, and we've got this link here, and we'll be putting that in the chat. Where you can go and check on the straight from from the government. This is what we've got. We have an official website for the Illinois legislative information. It's ilga.gov. They have recently updated that. So if you've looked at it before and you were like, well, this is confusing, give it another shot. If you're still working, I don't know if it's out of official, they called it beta, the new one. So I don't know if it's officially out or if you still have the option, but feel free to give me a ring. I have done some presentations on navigating that, and I'm happy to do that for a group or one-on-one. But that you can get a lot of information there. And then there's two non-government sites that I found. One is govtrack.us. That's been around for decades, and you can track the US, Congress, White House information. Then I have been hearing a lot about plural policy, and that one you can do a free account and you can get all the information and do your own searches. You can follow up to 5 bills without paying for anything. So you can get all the information if you're searching on your own. You can have 5 bills where it just gives you information on those. If you want to pay a monthly fee, a lot of times that's for people who are professional roles. And I have yet to meet somebody who actually has an official paid for account, but that you can follow more bills that way. So those would be some great ones to check out. So calls to action. This is something where you can get on a whole lot of lists, and sometimes that can get overwhelming. Sometimes I will take my emails that are calls to action and I actually have them go to a very specific folder so that as soon as it hits my email, it goes there, and then I can check them periodically every day to catch the important ones, but then I know where to go to keep up on things. The Arc of Illinois has advocacy updates. The Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities, this is their email address. You can email and say, please add me to your list serve, LIST serve, or just say, I'd love to get your updates. Access Living is a LifeSil. They are have really amazing, if you check out their website, they show you where they stand on different things and they send out alerts. And then Rev Up, we are Rev Up Illinois, and we're under Rev Up National, which the Association of American People with Disabilities has. This link will take you to their site and you can get on their list. I've just took action on one of the things they sent out, and they're also very helpful. So those are 4 I can recommend. If you have ones that you really like, drop them in the chat so that other people can know and we can check them out too. All right, preparing for action. Again, decide on your focus for the month or your season. It's not that you can't take action on all those other things. You're still going to be listening for calls of action, making calls when they want to have a big group of people calling at once, filling out your witness slips. But if you want to just be steadily involved in advocacy, pick your one that you're going to focus on, and then update your one-pager. We've got the resource for that you can look more into that. But in short, it's 1 page, or ideally even a half a page, where you're just summarizing a little bit who you are, what the topic is, and why it matters to you. Diane says, if you have that already, they will print that out and take that to meetings with other legislators when they are trying to get support for certain bills. So that would be something that's just a great tool. She could not speak highly enough. And I've used this as well, and it really did make a difference in the situation we were doing. Maybe make a big list of different people that share your concerns, and then find 2 or 3 that you're going to focus on for your meeting this month, and then get one-pagers from all of those other people or people that they know, so that you can bring a stack of them in and say, hey, it's not just us, it's all these people. Draft your elevator speech, which is your pitch, they'll call it, your 60 to 90 second. This is the issue. This is a little bit of a personal story to say why it matters. And we've got a link to help you to develop that. You can draft a 3-minute presentation on that in case you do get that meeting with your legislator or staffer. That's something that you can use to do a video of yourself, or share in other ways to create community awareness and support. And then you can share that information, whether it's a video or you write it out, share that through emails and your social media posts. If these are things that you want help learning because you're not confident about, email us, send it to us, let us know you want some help. I know we've got Rio as a director of our program, and then I'm with community mobilization. We would love to help you with that. Sometimes it's nice to get another set of eyes to get to feel confident before you send something out. If you're not comfortable with doing videos, let me know. We can work on that and figure out maybe a group of people that practice together. And then get comfortable completing witness slips. One of the links that we have in this presentation and in the links we've got on the side will give you examples of how to do it. Sometimes people will say that we get to opponent and proponent, and that can get confusing depending on the wording of the bill. So a lot of times if there's a call to action, they'll tell you, this is what we are requesting that you do. Support this bill or oppose this bill, and this is how you're going to word it. But if you're ever don't know, again, reach out to whoever did the call of action or reach out to us and we can help with that. So we've got this contact plan with some space so that you can make some notes. We've got a link for that. We've got a link for creating a one-pager, advocacy tips, which are things that Diane shared, and filling out the witness slip. And I know I didn't talk about Gary much, but he was amazing at that storytelling. And we've got some resources here to help you know, instructions on how to tell it, a story template, and then how to build your elevator pitch or your testimony if you're going to share even in Congress. So that's what I have to share. We've got on this screen, we have a visual of somebody that's got just a cardboard that says "Fight today for a better tomorrow." And people are all gathered together, advocating and sharing those together. I just encourage you, take what you want out of this, just practice with it. Make your plan, work your plan. We're going to have to roll with some punches because the plan is inevitably not going to work perfectly, but sometimes those things that the adjustments you make because of that sometimes are exactly what makes it more powerful. So try not to get discouraged when you get some, I'm thinking barriers, you know, like in the middle of a road when you got the roadblock there. Just think, okay, how is this going to make things better? Invite others to speak up and speak out. And just want to take a few minutes. We're almost at the end here. So if you have any questions, Vincent can guide us through our question time. Or if you have a question, you can absolutely put it in the chat or email it to any of the email addresses that were just shared by Rio. Rio, I show that you're on mute. Or not Rio, I'm sorry, Vincent. I was looking at you and thinking of Vincent.
No worries. Sherry just asked about printing out website. Sherry, do you want to, I'm going to allow you to talk. Do you mind just elaborating on that so Jennifer and I know how to answer that question? We can't hear you, Sherry.
I'll take a stab on a couple of meanings just in case. And then Sherry, if you're able to just interrupt me if I'm talking, don't wait for me to stop, or type it in and we'll see it. Printing out website. I'm wondering if that might be maybe some of the resources that we've got here. If you do have trouble accessing them, send us an email and we will help you with that. If any of the documents aren't printing out well, again, let us know and we will work on getting a form that is, so that I know sometimes it's nice to have that paper copy. Rio, I don't know if you have any other thoughts of what that might be asking.
I'm not sure. I feel like maybe that's a good guess. Sherry, like Jennifer said, you can drop the rest of your question in the chat, or we have included our email addresses. Feel free to email us. We are right at 10:59, so I want to go ahead and move on to coming up. Vincent, do you have anything else you wanted to add? Any questions?
Uh,
Or Jennifer,
when you,
anything you'd like to say?
yeah, when you go in person, the it's not what it's doing to talk to you. Like, I went to Springfield a couple months ago, and the lady, she had a meeting, but but she put a meeting on hold for me. When you go down there, it mean it do everything to meet with you.
Thank you for bringing that up, Vincent. I will say very quickly, I've done a lot of advocating. I've done a lot of calls, I've done a lot of emails and all that kind of stuff, but I had never gone to, well, I'd gone to the state of Illinois building en masse with people, but I had never gone to the offices. And we did that for dignity and pay. And I was like, help, I don't know what to do. So Nick Boyle from Access Living is like policy guy, really comfortable. He took a group of us around, and Vincent and I were on the same team. I really enjoyed that. I loved hearing Vincent's input. And I feel like on one of the topics, our stories were different, but they were the same enough that we worked together. I think it was more powerful that way. So
Yeah.
if you ever get a chance, go. And if you get a chance to go with somebody who's done it before, like go and get confident. So thank you, Vincent, for bringing that up.
Thanks, Vincent.
No,
Okay, since we're right at 11:01, I'm going to move us forward. Thank you, Jennifer. This presentation is so helpful, and I continue to learn a lot from you. So, folks, I want to just talk a bit about what's coming up for us. Um, on November 24th at 5 p.m. and November 26th at 10 a.m. We have our monthly Going Home Coalition meeting. And since I am new to my position, I wanted to give everyone a space to get to know me a little bit more and ask me questions and bring to the forefront any issues that folks would like to focus on for the upcoming year. We will not be holding any Going Home Coalition or Rev Up Illinois meetings for the month of December. That's just to give Jennifer and I the chance to plan out next year and to network with you all and see what you all might want to focus on for the year coming up. If you have any questions in the meantime, while we're waiting for our January meeting, you can go ahead and reach out to me at Rio at the Arc of Illinois. And then I also wanted to mention the weekly WOW meetings. WOW stands for Worth Our While, and it's time for collaborating and connecting as self-advocates. Those meetings are hosted by two self-advocates who we work closely with here at the Going Home Coalition, Chuy Camposano and Tavares Wesley. Those happen each Friday from 10 to 11. And this coming Friday, in just a couple of days, they are hosting a karaoke party, which sounds really, really fun. And then on Thanksgiving Day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., they're going to be hosting a special gathering event for folks who want to celebrate together. So definitely give yourself the chance to attend the WOW meetings if you are a self-advocate who wants to share space with some really excellent self-advocates who are a lot of fun to be around. And thanks so much for joining us. Thank you to Jennifer for presenting. Thanks to Vincent for hosting. And thanks to Lisa Peterson for providing us with closed captioning for today. I hope to see you all at our Going Home Coalition meeting in just a few weeks.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.